This is hilarious because he is an Aquarius. I think Aquarius men hate when you challenge their image of themselves or you threaten their picture of themselves as the good guy. It made me reflect on my Aquarius ex who used to blame me for things that were in no realm of reason or way my fault or like could be something to be mad at me for. Like, we had an argument for most of our relationship about how could I have dated these guys in LA and how could I choose him. That sounds very insecure when I say it, but it's so interesting because he comes off and was known as like the most confident guy in his group. It's actually funny because like other guys were definitely trying to imitate him and like fuck his life over. But that comes off as a very insecure thing to say, like, how could you? I just don't. He was like not believing me that like I thought he was good enough for me because he was like, you always would talk about those guys in LA, like how could I ever? And that was such a consistent fight where we would both be so upset and I would end up crying. Also, I realized I didn't say this detail in the last video when I was talking about this, but when I looked at the text messages at like 8:25, he said he was coming at 10 p.m. and at 8:30 he said, actually, I don't think I can come. I think I might be too tired. Is that okay? And I just liked the message. That is objectively erratic behavior because I had asked at like 7:55 p.m. and that was the second time we had talked about it today. And then within 5 minutes, it's a yes and a no. All I did was like the message, and then he said it wasn't received well. And that's how all of this began. The fact that I told the story and somebody's like, is he an Aquarius? And he is just really funny to me. I think Aquarius naturally come off as cool, interesting, talkative people, and they come off as deep. But I think sometimes if you require depth in a way that like makes them look at themselves, I'm not saying that they need to look at themselves as a bad person, but just to be like, oh yeah, I can see how that may have come off to you in a way where you don't want to perform being thrilled about that. And I can give you that validity and like extend that grace to you. But I think instead of looking inward, they avoid, and so they project it back onto you of like, how dare you make me feel this way that requires me to look inward and sit with some feelings that maybe make me feel a little bit uncomfortable. But instead of doing that, I'm going to moral high ground and like look down at you and condescend you about like regular neutral things. It's odd.